I'm Liz, and I was living in Herefordshire. I'm now between Newport and Cardiff in South Wales. I am a consultant for local authorities, writing and amending education healthcare plans for children with special needs in mainstream and special schools.
Awesome. So we start getting into reasons why you sold the house in the first place.
Okay. The house was actually my mum's and she passed away. So it was a probate sale. We had a hell of a journey actually getting probate. So once we'd done that, the house went on the market with a local agent, but we didn't have any interest at all. We realised afterwards it was just priced too high. We came to Springbok after doing a lot of research into a variety of different options, and Springbok had got good reviews. And after speaking to them, I was happy to use their services, and it was all a nice, simple transition from the local agents to Springbok.
Super. So have you tried to sell the house previous to coming to Springbok?
Yeah, we had it on with two different agents, in fact, but because it was too highly priced. There was quite a lot of work. My mum had lived there for 30 years, so there was quite a lot of cosmetic work really that needed doing,
Yeah.
and it was quite a bespoke place. So it was difficult for agents, I feel, to value it realistically because there wasn't really a comparison. And that's, I think, where we had a lot of hiccups initially. But we realised that. I say we, this is myself and my siblings, we realised that it was priced too highly. When we spoke to Springbok, their price guide was far more realistic than what we'd been given.
That's good. That's both interesting and good. So how did you find Springbok?
Well, it was my brother-in-law actually did a lot of research into a variety of different types of property buying places, and they were just on the initial talk to them, they were very helpful. So, you know, a lot of this is not only just a recommendation you might read online, but the initial contact and how Springbok came across was very good. So that was why we opted to go with them.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Why did you decide to get in touch with Springbok, and when was the first time you got in touch with them?
I think we got in touch. I've got a feeling it probably was at the beginning of 2024
Okay.
that we got in touch. We were just a bit disillusioned with the other local agents who seemed to promise a lot but didn't really deliver and didn't contact us and didn't give us any updates. So that was then when we went with Springbok.
Good. So that was last year.
Yeah.
Just another question. In the process of finding Springbok and then deciding to get in touch with them, between that time, did you have any sort of reservations or questions about, oh, who's this company and what are they like? And
Well, yeah, we'd actually never heard of Springbok beforehand. We'd never seen a board locally. It's quite a rural area where my mum lives, so it was really just the local agents' boards that we ever saw, and then we happened to mention it to somebody else as well, and somebody fairly local, and they'd said about Springbok, so we looked into it. But prior to that, I'd never heard of Springbok.
so your introduction to Springbok, first contact.
Yeah. We, I'm trying to think who it was I spoke to first of all. I think his name was Matt. Now he was very helpful. I think once it had sort of got the wheels were in motion, we moved on to a young lady, but I now can't think of her name. But he was very helpful because uh, I I don't live. I wasn't living locally. Neither of my siblings were, and so they were very helpful in as much as getting somebody to go and do the photos and the valuation and things like that without us having to be there. They were very accommodating when we couldn't make it. I mean, on the odd occasion we did go up, but it was really helpful to have somebody that you felt you could trust to go in and do what needed to be done, and then also to keep in touch with us. That was one of the big things that I was so pleased about, was even if there wasn't really any news, there was still a weekly phone call, just
Yeah.
so that you don't sit there thinking, well, nobody's been in touch. So that was something that was really good, I felt, because it just kept you in the loop as to what was happening. And I mean, everything was done to help us, and that was what was so good. I mean, obviously we breathed a complete sigh of relief when it actually did go through, but it was as painless as it possibly could have been. If I got any queries or worries, they were very good at me just letting me talk them through and coming back
Yeah.
with their professional advice for me, which was great.
Great. That's really, really good to hear. And also, that's touching on sort of the next sort of question is comparing the Springbok as a service
Mm.
versus other traditional agents. What were the key differences in there that you found?
I think it was the contact. Other agencies, they said they'd make sure they were updating us every week, and often they didn't. And then it was me chasing them, and I just think that's not my job. I have a job, I do my job, do your job. But Springbok didn't ever really put me in a position where I had to chase them. They were always very good at contacting me. So that, I think, it was very helpful. If you're busy, if you've got a job yourself, you haven't got the time to actually do that. So that to me was the big thing, was that Springbok, if they said they were going to come back with an answer to something, they did. And if there was a query that I got, they'd either give me the answer there and then or find the answer for me. So from that point of view, they were really helpful.
That's really, really good. Um, well, that'll be really useful feedback for the team here to say, hey,
Mm.
whatever you're doing with keeping them up to date and in contact, making sure you're actually doing the hand holding.
Yeah, well,
That,
I mean, the thing is, you give me a child, give me a special needs child, and I'll know what to do. Give me a property to sell, and I'm in somebody else's hands, and it's like anything, isn't it? You need the support of the people who know what they're doing. So Springbok actually proved that they gave that support, which was really helpful.
yeah, it's one of the main things is giving the person who's selling a house the confidence
Mm.
to be able to look forward to the whole process is happening as opposed to
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
sitting
stressful
on the
enough,
couch
especially
and
if you're selling a property because a parent has died. That's stressful enough. So
yeah.
it's not a nice position to be in. So to have it be made as easy as possible is obviously what you want. It's, as I say, it's stressful enough without anything else having to be looked at, or the hassles of it. So it was really good.
Awesome, awesome. So once the whole sale was completed, and you get that notification that, hey, you are completed, you are sold, it's game over, you're finished. What was that feeling like, if you can describe?
Absolute pure relief. It happened around the time of my sister's birthday, as I recall, and
Right?
it was just like a huge, big celebration because we were going to a party on the Saturday and it sold on the Friday. Um, and I mean, Springbok had managed to rush through quite quickly the completion and the exchange so that they happened
Wow.
within days of each other. So it was just so good to get it done. I was just so grateful that at the end they came through and pushed as much as they possibly could.
Oh, that's again, it's good to hear that Springbok was able to do that for you. As someone who's gone through the whole process, what would you say to somebody who wants to sell their house?
Uh, I would say look at all the options, but definitely look at Springbok as well. You might get it done quicker, and you might actually have more peace of mind with Springbok, which is what I felt we had. So I'd certainly recommend Springbok, but I think sometimes it's personal, isn't it? Really.
Is there anything you would say to the Springbok team as far as service is concerned?
Um, no, other than the fact that they did very well, and as I say, they kept us in the loop all the time. If there was any issues when it went to the solicitors, that was all done very speedily, and everything was very easy.
Thank you so much for your time.